Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TrueLife News Show. Today, guys, Elon and Trump are looking to shake it up big time in the Congressional House with some shocking news, especially for Mike Johnson, guys, because we are coming back. This next week, Mike Johnson, the Senate, the House are coming back to Washington. I don't know why they had to take a 2-week-long break, but they did. But now they're being put to the grinder because Trump said he wants this bill done in the next 2 months. And a lot of people, including our girl, Marjorie Taylor Greene, including others, are saying that Mike Johnson does not have the backbone to stick this out and hold the landing on making sure that Trump's agenda actually gets done. So there are talks. We're talking about Jim Jordan being replacing Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House because he's been active in helping to fight off the rogue judges that have been coming up against Trump. On top of that, he's got a backbone. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because Trump said we have to make this happen. The tax cuts have to be in place. The reconciliation bill, no tax on Social Security, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Balancing the budget, guys, has to get done. And a lot of people are skeptical with what Mike Johnson has shown thus far. On top of that, guys, such breaking news has gone on today that the FBI, our boy Kash Patel, is actually arresting these rogue judges that have been harboring criminals. And you will not believe the Democrats are siding with the criminals and saying that Trump is now targeting these judges illegally. The biggest one, Senator Amy Klobuchar, said this is not normal. The administration's arrest of a sitting judge in Wisconsin is a drastic move that threatens the rule of law. You cannot make this stuff up, everybody. We literally cannot even execute the law of somebody who literally was trying to usher out an illegal alien that had committed crimes and hurt 2 individuals. She was ushering them out of the room, trying to get them out through the back door, through her chambers, and she got caught. She even tried to fight off the ICE officials who were trying to go get the illegal criminal. We are living in some crazy times, guys, but I'm telling you what, butts in jail, and that's exactly where it should be. We also have, guys, this is one of the most, it's all getting revealed now, guys. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is revealing a lot of bombshell documents right now that the Biden administration was carrying out while he was in office. Listen to this. A White House document has revealed that the previous administration, the Biden administration, partnered with the ADL and GLAAD to label popular conservative accounts like Libs of TikTok and other conservative influencers as extremists along actual hate groups like Ku Klux Klan. Guys, I've got the document to show you in just a moment. But the administration apparently lumped mainstream conservative social media accounts into the same category as these violent extremist hate groups. That's who they were targeting. People got censored. Let me know in the chat, were you censored? Let me know your comments, guys, because now that we got these documents, now DNI, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, says she is working with Pam Bondi. She wants to hold these officials under the Biden administration accountable for targeting American citizens. Guys, when you see the list, when you hear who was actually targeted, it will blow your mind. It is so sickening that this happened in the United States. But the most important part about what I'm telling you is that we're exposing it. The light is being shined on it, and we are celebrating, guys. This is good stuff. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want to take care of you with the top news. We want to serve you every day, guys. We are living through history right now. I want to thank all of our members of the channel, guys. Thank you so much, Ruby Hoover, for already gifting a TrueLife News membership. Show Ruby some love in the chat, and for everybody that gives a super chat donation. Guys, we are growing this community. We're giving to local charities more every single month, guys. Already 7 months in, over $33,000 given to local charities live on stream because of you. And we're going to keep it going, guys. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button. We got an amazing show for you tonight, guys. I'm telling you, we're finally seeing some justice, and now we're finally exposing these crazy Democrats. Check this out.
Pam Bondi, let's go. Look, they told us the arrests were coming. Ladies and gentlemen, they are here now. And I'll admit, I was wondering when they were coming. But man, I am so happy they are here now. Remember the judicial standard that the left set for the last 4 years?
No person is above the law.
No person is above the law.
Not even the President of the United States, not even a former President of the United States.
Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law.
No one, my friend, is above the law.
And in this nation, not even the president is above the law.
Oh, okay. Well, this morning, one of those liberal judges was arrested at their home for helping an illegal immigrant evade deportation. Liberals are losing their collective minds over this. Democrat Jamie Raskin. It's remarkable that the administration would dare to start arresting state court judges. It's a whole descent into government chaos.
Guys, do you see this, guys? I'm telling you. These Democrats, like, there's nothing that you can do that it's right. There's nothing that you can say. We could cure cancer, and the Democrats would still say, well, the pharmaceutical companies are going to lose money. That's how corrupt they are, guys. That a person who is illegally trying to harbor a criminal, illegal alien, who got caught, and now these Democrats are trying to defend them. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. This type of stuff, I've got some more to show you, but this is being uncovered finally.
Democrat Greg Landsman. They arrested a judge. They can no longer claim to be the party of law and order. This will have to be a red line for congressional Republicans. Unbelievable. And a dozen others. We're throwing this little hissy fit. But anyone curious on the left as to why this judge was arrested? I'll tell you. Judge Hannah Dugan has been charged with two federal felony counts: obstruction and concealing an individual. An illegal immigrant who was in her courtroom for a domestic abuse charge. Like, not a great guy. The judge ran interference between the awaiting ICE agents he had a deportation order too, by the way, and helped him escape out the back door. It resulted in a foot chase with ICE. That's why...
Guys, again, this guy who she was trying to protect had literally just beaten up this one guy who was literally sitting in the courtroom, hit him over 30 times, and beat up his wife too. And this is the people that the Democratic Party is trying to protect. You cannot make this stuff up.
They arrested this judge. Like, how do I eat popcorn and witness more of this? And the best part here, her career is over
100%.
Okay, put a fork in it. According to the law, a judge shall avoid the impropriety and the appearance of impropriety of all judges' activities. A judge shall respect and comply with the law and shall, not may, shall act at all times in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. Basically, Chapter 60 of the Code of Judicial Conduct requires judges to uphold public confidence in the judiciary, or they shall, not may, shall be removed. Boom. I don't want to hear another peep from the left about how we should listen to all these judges either. This ain't all. The last 24 hours actually have been lit. Yesterday, they arrested another judge and his wife for harboring a Tren de Aragua gang member in his home. He has permanently been removed from the bench. I mean, word on that one. But
Guys, you can't make this up. I've got to show you. Look at the actual X post that a sitting representative on the Democratic side said. This is not normal. The administration's arrest of a sitting judge in Wisconsin is a drastic move that threatens the rule of law. While we don't have all the details, this is a grave step and undermines our systems of checks and balances. So without having all the details, automatically says that this judge is innocent. Automatically thinks that a judge who literally who is harboring a known criminal who had deportation, who's supposed to be deported. She is a sitting representative, guys. Just think about this. There's a lot more Democrats that are saying the exact thing. And what this is showing everybody in the United States, that these dang people have no common sense for the rule of law and protecting American people. They need to be disbarred. They need to never be allowed in a courtroom. Guys, let me know your thoughts. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button. This type of stuff just blows my mind, that we have people that are supposedly representing the American people that would say something like this.
Released the charges on him, charging him and his wife with a whole host of things, including tampering with evidence. This former judge, according to Pam Bondi, this afternoon, he took the phone of the illegal immigrant gang member, he smashed it with a hammer, you know, like Hillary Clinton did, and then took the pieces to a city dumpster and then disposed of them. One of those devices, Pam Bondi said, had pictures of two severed heads on it. That's probably why the now former judge was trying to get rid of it. I mean, whose side is this guy on? Also, fun fact here, forget just letting him live with the guy. Pam Bondi also said this disgraced judge, he gave firearms, semi-automatic firearms with suppressors that belonged to his daughter to the gang members. The TDA gangbangers then took those to a range, became proficient. I mean, dear Lord, this is gun trafficking from the party that hates guns. It's like Eric Holder all over again. Look, libs, tell me again how these judges are like, so morally just. No. You have been defending all this stuff since Trump won re-election. You have been telling us he needs to obey the rule of law. And if he doesn't listen to these judges, it's like some constitutional crisis or something. Yeah, right. Judges just like this are the same ones making rulings and reversing the actions of a president of the United States. And this one apparently goes and gives guns to gang members. Okie doke.
Guys, let me tell you this. You see the details right here. This Democratic judge denied the criminal alien and his assault victim due process because she tried to get him out of the courtroom when she heard that ICE was in the building. It was literally in the middle of a trial. Judge Hannah Dugan told Eduardo Flores Ruiz pack his things and to follow her. She did this in front of the domestic violence victim and the state's attorney. By facilitating his escape, she denied Eduardo, the guy who was actually the criminal, and his victim and the state due process. You want to talk about all these Democrats saying, oh, the Maryland man, no due process. All these people, no due process. Guys, it's all fake. It only is there if it meets their agenda, but that's exactly what happened. Let me know your thoughts, because I'm telling you, this stuff is just the beginning of what I'm going to show you tonight, and it gets deep.
Why I'm skeptical of basically any Democrat or Democrat-appointed judge blocking the president of the United States, and yet members of Congress are still supporting these judges. Like, as we speak right now, there are weirdos and freaks protesting out in front of the courthouse where that woman was arrested. How about you guys pound sand? And Democrats waged lawfare for the last, I don't know, was it 10 years on Donald Trump because they didn't want him to get elected?
Man.
He didn't even do anything wrong. You guys found a judge to convict him of a felony where even the alleged victim was like, yeah, no, we're totally happy with this. We don't think anything went wrong. And when people like me said that judge was compromised because, I don't know, his daughter was fundraising off the trial, you told me, oh, shut up, Carl. No one's above the law. Yeah, well, now I hope they bury these judges under the jail.
Ooh,
in fact,
man.
While they're all charging people, I got a few more that you should probably see jail time. We're talking about obstruction, right? Arrest every single person that impedes these deportations, rip their stupid masks off their faces, and then throw them in handcuffs, and you perp walk these people right out the front door with their purple hair, and you send them right to jail. I am really tired of this one. The party that locked up
You know what? We had a judge that was handcuffed 2 days ago, a judge today. I'll be okay if these corrupt judges, if we do a judge a day. What do y'all think, guys, in the chat? Let's just do a judge a day. These rogue judges think they can control a sitting president? You got to be kidding me. I'm telling you, I am so glad because justice is finally coming.
Violent January 6ers, for like years, by the way, is out there encouraging violence on elected officials too?
There's one number. That number you call, and you threaten them. And you say, this is wrong.
Oh, threaten them. That's illegal. Maybe they should be knocking.
That is a sitting representative telling their constituents to call the Republicans and threaten them, guys. This is we're at the end, guys. We're at the edge of the cliff for the Democrats because they have nothing else. Now they're resulting to violence. I say every single Democrat that calls for violence, put their butts in jail.
On this woman's door, Democrat Frederica Wilson is an elected congresswoman. She should not be able to hide behind the speech and debate clause on this one. A night in the clink might actually wise her up a bit. Send her to jail. Oh, here's another one. Remember that district attorney that's refusing to charge the Minnesota state employee who keyed multiple Teslas? That's her right there in the rainbow shirt at the Alphabet Community Parade. That's super weird because she just filed felony charges against another 19-year-old woman who reportedly keyed her coworker's car. Unfair prosecution? I mean, maybe you should hit her with a federal charge of deprivation of rights. 42 U.S. Code 1983, quote, any citizen of the United States or other jurisdiction within, therefore, to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law. There's actually a Supreme Court case about this, United States versus Armstrong, on selective prosecution just like this, which states...
Right there. Oh, man, I hope this person gets put in jail, guys. So, to do $20,000 worth of damages, guys, that's big-time felony. And the DA distinctively, intentionally says, no, we're not going to prosecute this person because I just don't like Elon. I don't like the Tesla. But then the very next day, a coworker gets their car keyed, and now they're going to prosecute them for the exact same crime. Put their butts in jail, guys. I'm ready to see it. Are you?
Defendant must have some evidence in order to proceed. Then they can go ahead. Charging one person for the exact same crime that you didn't charge another person simply because of their political affiliation seems super evidency to me. Send her to jail. Oh, also, here's a great list to keep that DOJ busy. Doge. Whoo, God bless these guys. They have uncovered and removed 11 million eligible Social Security recipients that are over the age of 120. Now, some of whom were actually still cashing Social Security checks. Not all, but some. And given the fact that the oldest person in the world right now is I think 116 years old, there's your target list, Pam. Anybody who's cashed any one of those checks at any point, you find them, you drag them out of their house in bracelets that this should keep you busy for weeks. But in case you have a few more agents looking for something to do, I see that Donald Trump has asked for a formal investigation into Act Blue. That's the Democrat fundraising platform. Now, the left is losing their mind over this coin. It's political persecution, which, again, is so rich here.
Remember, guys, through the Act Blue, billions of dollars, I'm not joking, billions of dollars have been funneled into the Democratic Party from foreign nations. Guys, this Act Blue, I'm telling you, the biggest scandal I think is the Biden scandal, but number two, I think it's going to be this Act Blue that was used to control America's policies, that was used for foreign entities to control politicians with a little bit of this. Guys, if you appreciate the truth, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, this is what I'm talking about.
This come from their lips. We told you about this a year ago. The measure in politics, unfortunately, is how much money have you raised. Ironically, it's also the easiest thing to track. So we did. And holy rusted metal, Batman, did a bunch of people find a bunch of stuff that appears to not add up on where and how that money is getting into Democrat coffers.
Right there.
Go back and watch that, Mono. I did the work for you, Miss Bondi. How about you charge every single candidate who received a donation that is found to be fraudulent? You're going to see members of the Democrat Party in the Congress or whatever. They're going to start singing like canaries.
Ooh.
This is how you stop these liberal loons from ever doing this kind of stuff again.
Guys, I'm telling you, you're about to see it. And I want to show you this because I'm telling you, if there's anybody that's being red-pilled right now, guys, that's CNN. With everything that I'm going to show you tonight, they're loving it because it's making their ratings go up. This right here, guys, I can't even believe I'm showing you this, but the Biden White House branded conservative social accounts as extremists in a secret LGBT briefing. A Baumhouse White House document revealed the previous administration partnered with the ADL and GLAAD to label popular conservative accounts like Libs of TikTok as extremists along actual hate groups. The most shocking, the administration apparently lumped mainstream conservative social media accounts into the same group as violent extremist organizations. Guys, nobody, look at this. This is they're revealing all this, guys. This is what the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is revealing. All the list of these people is coming out that the Biden White House was secretly monitoring them. Not only that, guys, it gets even deeper on the stuff that they were trying to put them up against. And now that this is coming out, you better believe it that arrests are coming soon, guys. All this stuff is coming to a climax, and I love it, guys. Listen to this.
Walk us through right now, it's all breaking on Twitter, but a lot of these judges, I can't even believe I'm saying this, though actually I guess I can because they're Democrats or activist judges, non-activists, but they were caught harboring, in some cases, allegedly illegal aliens. You had the other judge, what was it, in Milwaukee, when they heard that ICE agents showed up, hiding them in her judge's quarters, having them leave through a backdoor exit. And now, I guess it's the new Maryland man hoax, but I mean, the left is truly breaking down, acting like this is, I believe, as some MSNBC contributors said, that we've crossed Rubicon on this front. Can you walk us through the absurdity of today's latest immigration hoax?
It is a federal crime to be an illegal alien in the United States, right? Every single one of these illegal aliens they're committing a federal crime, and those who harbor those illegal aliens are also committing a federal crime, and those who obstruct immigration law enforcement to get those illegal aliens and arrest them and detain them and get them out of our country, those who obstruct that are committing a federal crime. And it does not matter if you are a judge or not. You should know better as a judge. You know what the law is.
Yes.
You are intentionally violating that law, whether you are obstructing federal.
And I think too, guys, if it's a judge, especially, they need to be treated and they need to be fined worse, because they're supposed to be upholding the law greater than anybody else and know the law. And this is what she did.
Investigators are obstructing ICE agents, or if you're harboring an illegal alien at your house, these are very serious crimes. And so these judges are facing felony charges. They are almost certainly going to face imprisonment, and this sends a powerful message to everyone that if judges can get charged for this, every other American is fair game. So this illegal immigration amnesty is coming to a screeching halt. President Trump campaigned on this, that he's going to secure our border. He's going to enforce our immigration laws. He's going to get illegal aliens the hell out of our country, particularly Tren Aragua foreign terrorists and MS-13 gangbangers. And anyone who gets in the president's way is going to face the wrath of the Justice Department, including these two state judges who are charged with very serious federal crimes.
Let's go.
And just a programming note, Warren Posse in the bottom corner of the screen, President Trump, and I believe I saw the First Lady Melania Trump walking down Air Force One. They've arrived in Rome. Obviously, they're going to be attending the funeral procession for the late Pope, but no disrespect to him. Back to you, Mike. You use the word wrath. And again, I know you don't speak for the DOJ. You are your own person, but I have to ask on behalf of our audience, I wouldn't necessarily say that what we've seen out of the DOJ so far, to me, rises to the level of full wrath when you're talking about accountability for people who waged lawfare, or some of the people who I think organized this, illegal alien invasion. Just help us understand.
I think, guys, we need an arrest a day. That's what we need. If we can get an arrest a day, then that will give confidence to the American people that the Department of Justice is actually doing its dang job.
And if you think that that is coming, and if the reason why we haven't seen it, is it just a time thing, or is there active subversion going on from within these agencies? Again, I know you can't necessarily share everything, but just for our audience, who I think is really dying and desperate to see actual names. We haven't had any names released. Why do you think there's a holdup on that?
Well, remember, you have to get officials confirmed, including U.S. attorneys, who will bring these criminal charges. And I imagine that anyone who is involved with the Crossfire Hurricane conspiracy better lawyer up, because justice is definitely coming. This is an ongoing criminal conspiracy.
Remember, guys, who was the big one with this Hurricane Crossfire? Hillary Clinton. We told you guys, it's coming. The justice is coming. Let's go. Y'all show some love in the chat. And to Shelly Bergman for the super chat. And Irvin Light. Let's go. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I'm telling you, what we're seeing, I feel like we're 3 months in. It's just the beginning.
See? Nobody is above the law, and there is going to be accountability, and I'm going to make damn sure that happens.
Ooh, let's
go.
go.
On that front, obviously, the great EO starting an investigation, not just into the smurfing, the small dollar donations, but also the foreign weird credit card donations, using Act Blue as a conduit to likely commit mass election fraud. I know we aren't allowed to say that phrase on legacy media, but Mike, your take on sort of that whole process, why you think he's entrusting DOJ to go after it, that just whole approach.
I think that we have a massive fraud with Act Blue, where they are making donations. Apparently, you have big wealthy donors who are using these straw donors. Some of these people are dead. They don't know they're making these donations. This Act Blue appears to be a massive money laundering conspiracy, a money laundering fraud, a campaign finance violation. And I promise, look, I know these Justice Department officials personally, like Pam Bondi and Chad Mizell and Todd Blanche and Emil Bove. These are serious people. They're not going to just bring charges. Kash Patel.
Guys, Act Blue in 2023 to 2024 alone received almost $4 billion. Guys, that is a lot of money for campaign donations. Yeah, I can promise you, I would put the house on it that foreign money was 3/4 of that $4 billion. Trump and everybody that loves Trump and MAGA, they only raised right under $1 billion. Yeah. Oh, I feel like that's some big fraud there.
Bongino, they're not going to bring charges willy-nilly. They're going to methodically build their case. And when the timing is right, they're going to bring their indictments. And when they bring their indictments, you're going to know that they're rock-solid indictments that are going to win a jury finding of guilt and the court's conviction.
Right. So the key part with all this is the United Front Work Department, which, as you mentioned, Natalie, I know you've done a lot of work on. I've done a lot of work on. The important thing to understand is how the United Front Work Department functions and what its goals are. So this individual being accused of, again, tied to these Chinese spy organizations, using his ties to various organizations, not even just that one, to funnel money into the campaigns of politicians. He has direct ties, according to the Daily Caller, to the United Front Work Department. A lot of that is through the All China Federation of Returned Overseas Chinese. Now, what the United Front does, this is a branch of the Chinese Communist Party that is dedicated to doing what they call leadership capture. The role of the United Front is to, work on the front lines of the Chinese.
Guys, I'm telling you, we're bringing it. You will not hear this stuff on mainstream media, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button. We knew it all along, but what did he say? Leadership capture is what's happening. The CCP, the China Communist Party, buying our politicians.
Communist Party, which is on American soil. That means these guys are operating in the United States. They have public organizations. They don't even try to hide it. I mean, Natalie, I know you've done a lot of research on this too. You found individuals, like, they say it on their business cards half the time. Like, they do such a poor job of hiding their ties to these Chinese spy organizations that it's almost like laughable. They say it publicly. They have websites publicly. They don't try to hide it at all. So what the United Front Work Department will do, it will approach various leaders. So it's going to be your politicians, your journalists, your academics, like, Harvard was having a lot of controversies with this. It'll approach your business leaders, and it will offer them various forms of bribery or, debt traps or whatever else. So the Chinese Communist Party will typically offer 4 different things to people. That's going to be lust, meaning, like honey traps where maybe there's underage girls, they invite them back to China, or like prostitution rings. They're having cases of those busted even here in the United States. Lust would be one of them. They'll videotape it. They'll blackmail people. That's a big one. Another one is going to be money. And so, of course, business leaders making business ties with China. Sometimes they'll even set up like import-export businesses, and they'll use that to funnel money into people's wallets effectively. Like, for example, the Chinese businesses might give them a 50% discount. By doing so, it's as if they paid them like $1 million.
Wow.
They'll do that. Another one's going to be fame. A lot of times with, college professors, with academics or journalists, it's fame. They invite them to China. They treat them like royalty. You see this a lot with like TikTokers and like YouTubers right now who are getting offered these trips to China. That's one of the main tools they use. With politicians, the main one they use would be power. And what they will do in that case seems very close to what we're seeing here, and very close to what we're seeing with them maybe even laundering money through various other organizations. ActBlue is being accused of some of this right now. The way they do that is they will have organizations here in the United States. A lot of these they're called tongs, Tongs. You have tons of them. There are tongs in New York City. There are tongs in Washington, D.C. There are tongs in San Francisco. There's tongs all over the United States. These are Chinese fraternal organizations. Sometimes they'll have tens of thousands of members, at least probably several thousand per tong. Some claim to have upwards of 100,000 members.
Guys, again, like, if the corruption is not being exposed, if I'm not showing you what is actually going on, guys, holy smokes, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, because I'm telling you, like, if you would have said, hey, Joel, last year I'd be reporting this, I tell you, there's no way we could expose all of it, but they are, guys. That is what I love about the Trump effect. It is changing everything right now. So check this out. The Biden administration gave Catholic charities over $1.4 billion from government support in 2024 to help bring in illegal aliens. Guys, they funneled it through these NGOs. $1.4 billion. All the documentation, look, all the documentation is here over all the money that's been laundered through. It is insane what we are seeing, guys, from these people. Like, the amount of evidence that's coming out is astronomical. Want to say thank you so much, Anna, for the super chat. Let's go. Said, tried a few platforms to support before I came up to yours. I like the fact that you pay it forward. With that is contributed to the chat. Let's go. Y'all show Anna some love in the chat. Bonnell Anderson, thank you so much for the super chat. And Lynn Defoe, let's go. Said, all you do for these charities that need help is so awesome. I'm so proud to be a part of your family. Hey, we love you here. Joel, your family is so wonderful with the big heart you all have. I can't say enough on how wonderful you are. Lynn, God bless you. Y'all show Lynn some love in the chat. What a wonderful, kind blessing, guys. This next month, I'm feeling it again, guys. I'll tell you on the 1st of next month who we're going to be giving to, the next charity. But thank you so much for your kindness. Y'all show Lynn some love in the chat. Guys, the Trump effect is so real. They're losing it right now. I want you to listen to this because this is CNN right now getting red-pilled. They want some ratings, but I cannot even dream that what you're about to hear was said and allowed and broadcasted on a CNN network. Listen to this.
Looking at the complaint, let's strip the politics out of it. This is a crime. If they can prove what happened here, it is a crime. This judge, let's strip the Trump of it all out. Let's strip the immigration of it all out. Let's say law enforcement shows up at a building with an arrest warrant. They're looking for person A. Person B then says, hey, there's a secret escape door out back. I'm going to show you the way, and then ushers that person out the back door. That is textbook obstruction. Looking at the complaint, let's strip the politics out of it. This is a crime. If
guys, 100% calling it out of what's happened. Mr. Tracy J. Norby with the 20 gifted True Life News memberships. Let's go. Guys, show Mr. Norby some love in the chat if you got a free membership. OG of the channel. God, man, I think Mr. Norby's winning just the title OG of the channel. Growing the True Life News family. Guys, appreciate y'all so much. Listen to this. Because now what's happened, remember I told you it was going to get, they're on the edge. They're now threatening Congress right now. Democrats want to literally upend Congress. Check this out.
Let's unpack here. Roseanne, I want to start with you. She said you threatened them. She may want to clarify that, but that is what she's caught on tape saying.
Well, she's saying basically call and make themselves
Raise a
known.
ruckus.
But threaten is a different word when you say threaten. And we've seen Maxine Waters say that too. And people listen to them. Unfortunately, as we know, there are people in this society who take literally what you say. And
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it was a great idea. Can we get back to the courtroom? Because I think everybody is just trying to figure out what happened in that courtroom with the judge being arrested. And yes, it's concerning. It's disappointing. But I was also thinking about the victims who were in that courtroom. I've covered many cases as a reporter of domestic abuse. A lot of these victims don't like to go against the people who've attacked them. They're scared. They're afraid of retribution. So that woman is sitting in that courtroom where all of a sudden the man that she believes, attacked her is at a side door, disappeared, and the next thing you know, who knows what happened in that courtroom? All hell breaks out. They're looking for him. I was looking over the criminal complaint, and Jessica and I were talking earlier, and she was very, very concerned about the standard, what we were starting with something like this. But when you look over this and you see that a courtroom deputy in this complaint basically said that this was very unusual in that courtroom, in the judge's courtroom. They said first, the courtroom deputy had previously heard Judge Dugan direct people not to sit in the jury box because it was exclusively for the jury use. However, the defendant was allowed to sit in the jury box. Secondly, the judge is then overheard basically telling the defendant and his attorney to go out the side door. And the next thing you know, ICE agents are being told what's going on. They're running after this guy on foot. I don't know. Something is very fishy here.
Yeah, they chased him down the street.
They chased him down the street and they got him.
He had some, and there's a debate about how he got out and what the judge directed him to do.
What? They chased this dude down the street? Guys, oh, she deserves it. She knew what she was doing, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Ain't no way we're getting all these details, guys. They chased the criminal down the street because the judge let them out. You cannot make this stuff up. This is like some Jerry Springer type of stuff. That's how crazy this is getting, guys.
The judge, but,
Right. And so what DHS is telling us, it says he has a laundry list of violent criminal charges, including strangulation and suffocation, battery and domestic abuse. We couldn't verify all of that, but we could verify 3 domestic abuse charges. Infliction of physical pain or injury is what we're told. But Greg, the allegation is the judge felt like that's the guy who needed protecting.
Yeah, I would like to quote Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and every self-righteous Democrat. No one is above the law. And that includes left-wing judges who subvert the law themselves. This isn't even about political ideology or even immigration. We're seeing judges who clearly lean towards a specific side. They're called activist judges, but that's a contradiction. Judges are not activists. No. They are judges. Maybe this judge has a backstory with this illegal. Could it be? It's not just the gavel that she's banging, Shannon. I want to talk about Frederica Wilson.
Whoa.
It's hard to take her seriously when she dresses like she's auditioning for the Real Housewives of the Kentucky Derby. They define their... what you're seeing is a lot of these people in power define their positions by their hatred for Trump. If he came out against self-harm, she would probably punch herself in the face. I understand loyal opposition. That's your role when you aren't in power. But you should have some duty to your constituents to offer them a better path than what you're seeing. What would you do differently? The whole point of this was getting rid of the worst first. We have an illegal immigration problem. We have a border problem. Now we are actually doing something that people voted for. This is the adult solution, the worst first. What is your solution other than, I don't know, trying to stop the process altogether? That's my question. Is this going to happen with every single deportation? Are they just going to try to hinder what Americans voted for?
Wow.
Bogging it down and exhausting us with maybe like one case a week, something that they never did with Obama when he deported 2.4 million illegals. They're turning an administrative process into a legal one. Imagine a game where a corrupt umpire throws a flag on every play. So the game can't go forward for one reason or another.
Wow.
This is what they were doing. And by the way, this is what they did to the first Trump administration.
Yep.
They constantly
Guys,
waged lawfare on him. And this is lawfare now specifically pointed
at... and I can promise you this, guys. I can promise you this. If we lose the House in 2026, Trump will be impeached again. It won't go through all the way. But I'm telling you, with what we're seeing now, they're trying to literally protect these illegal immigrants. They're trying everything that they can. They will impeach them. That's why it's so important that we keep the winning going. Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button. Vitra, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. And B1 Sly One with the super chat. Y'all show B1 Sly One and Vitra some love in the chat.
Process that Americans voted for, which is to get the illegal aliens out of this country.
Well, and Greg, to your point about the polls, we have brand new Fox News polling this week that showed that a majority of people do agree and support the president, approve, Jessica, of what he's doing when it comes to border security. I mean, the numbers have gone to a trickle by any objective standard, and they say they do want people out of this country if they're here illegally. A guy who's accused of these things, is that who Democrats want to be seen aligning with or defending?
Come in and have a conversation about it. They didn't need to publicly arrest this woman. They wanted to make a
Joey, I have a feeling you have something to say about
They
that.
didn't need to make a show of it, but everything is for the cameras.
Somebody whose actual purpose in this world is to enact justice and sometimes be the sole deciding factor on what justice is.
Yes.
Who sits in front of people and has their entire lives in her hands, and she can't do something as simple as obey the law herself, and we should just hide it under the rug. Bring her into a room and pat her on the hand for putting a guy back out on the street or trying to hide a guy from the proper authorities who punched someone 30 times and then struck a woman trying to break it up. With all due respect, this whole argument about these Venezuelan gang members or people who say they aren't in a gang, but they've got MS-13 and code on their knuckles.
To say
that, well, whatever it, okay, well, not everybody. You've also sat here and argued against using tattoos to say if someone's a member of MS-13. So anyone who has a tie to MS-13 or the government suspects of it, if you tell me that they deserve due process, I tell you that I know Laken Riley's dad, and I would go out and kick every one of them out of this country just because of Laken Riley. So when Frederica Wilson said something like more people are getting rolled up because of Laken Riley, you're damn right they are. Because this whole country saw what happened to Laken Riley. And
Let's
we said,
go.
Hell no. And then that act was passed by Congress that we voted in and signed into law by a president that we voted in. And if not being for due process for illegal immigrants that come here and commit crime makes me a bad American, okay, well, at least I'm still American, and that's a hell of a lot more than they are.
But conservative juggernauts like Antonin.
I'm telling you guys, people are getting fed up. They're ready to see change. Thank you so much, Sharon Holt, for the super chat. Let's go, said God's going to be done soon and we win. Let's go. Sherry Garcia says due process was to protect citizens from government, not to protect criminals from justice. What mic drop for Sherry Garcia. Y'all show Sherry and Sharon some love in the chat. Guys, I'm telling you, we are seeing some red pilled. This is happening. Listen to this, because it is adding to the common sense. More people are going to be leaning towards Trump because there's all these networks that whenever they get a conservative or a common sense person on their panel, they actually get more ratings and more views. Listen to this.
Who half my family was murdered by the actual Hitler. You know, in addition to it being deeply offensive to Jews, to call Trump Hitler is to call over 80 million Americans, 35% of Jewish Americans, 56% of Hispanic men, and the majority of Americans who make under $100,000 a year, Nazis, because those are the people who gave Donald Trump his victory.
That's a good point.
And I just have a pro tip for any Democrats who are thinking about winning back the working class, those people who make under $100,000 a year, who a majority of whom voted for Trump. You should have a visceral disgust for someone like Larry David, who's worth $400 million, sitting there and sneering and smearing the hardest working Americans for refusing to co-sign their own disinheritance. That's effectively what they are doing when these millionaires come out here and call Trump Hitler. They are calling working class Americans Nazis because they chose the person they thought would give their children back the future they were promised by this country. And it just has to stop. And you know what? Honestly, I don't care if the Democrats get this or don't, but they should get this because this is a big part of why they have lost.
Guys, I'm telling you, CNN's getting red-pilled. And you know what? Their ratings are getting better. I don't blame them because they need some help. But the people that do watch CNN, hopefully they're getting some common sense, guys, that none of this, what we're showing you, makes any sense. You cannot sit there and say that this guy is not affecting the world in a positive way for the United States with an America First policy. The Trump effect, $5.2 trillion of investment secured in 100 days. If that. Well, I think we're at like 97 or 98 or something like that. So you can't tell me that Trump is not a boss for not only in business, but for putting America first and making America win again. And his team, with what I'm about to show you next, they're going after him, guys. They're not holding back. Listen to this.
Criminals, and she puts them on notice, referring to 2 alleged leakers of classified info of the DOJ for prosecution. So 2 and more are coming. 3rd referral is on the way. Here to explain is the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Director, great to see you in person.
Good to see you, Brian.
So I read about this. You indicated to me this was happening. 2 people have been found to be leaking. A 3rd on its way. Can you give me the nature of the leaks and how you discovered it?
Let's just first of all point out what we know has been the problem for a very long time. One of the reasons why the American people voted resoundingly for President Trump was to root out the kind of politicization and weaponization of intelligence that has really undermined the trust the American people have in the intelligence community and the national security state, but really what also directly undermines our own national security. So I made it very clear to the U.S. Senate, to the American people when I had the honor of being appointed to this position, that we will not allow this to continue. We take this very seriously. It is illegal to leak classified information. And so what you're seeing here is me carrying out on the promise and the mandate the American people gave Trump. We conducted our own internal investigation. We have referred them now to the Department of Justice and the FBI for an official criminal investigation because these are crimes and people need to be held accountable to put a stop to this.
When you were Congresswoman, we talked about this. There's people within the department not selling secrets to Russia or China.
Well, we're keeping an eye out for that too.
Absolutely,
but
undermining the policy of the administration, the first administration, working against you at the CIA, working against you. Now you're finding this out. So you found people who seem motivated to undermine the president.
Yeah, when we look at the examples that I've seen just in the short time that I've been in this position, what they consist of is essentially very selective leaks to their friends in the propaganda media that twist and manipulate intelligence directly to undermine the president's policies and his aggressive work to keep the American people safe.
So does that third person know that you're zeroing in on them?
I don't know if they know, but these are the first 3 investigations. We are referring to the Department of Justice. There are more that we are continuing to, investigations we're continuing
internally. Can you give me the nature of what they did, and will we know their names?
I can't get into detail now because of the criminal investigations that the FBI will be conducting.
Wow.
But in each one of these examples, I can tell you we know that the intent, based on the result that we've seen through their leaks to the Washington Post, the New York Times, and other outlets, Huffington Post and others, has been directly to undermine President Trump and the work that he's doing.
In cooperation with the director of the CIA and the FBI, since you're overseeing all of it? So it could be any in those bureaus beneath you?
Yes.
Okay. We just had the Secretary of Defense on, and he also is dealing with leak issues, 3 of which have been fired, maybe a 4 queued up. As Director of National Intelligence, do you have a role in that investigation?
I don't. The Department of Defense is conducting their own investigation. I've not been involved with or connected to that. What we are looking at is specifically within the intelligence community. So that means the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, but also with purview over the 18 different intelligence elements that I have oversight over.
Can you give me what you were told about you need to be able to communicate in real time, rapidly, with people at your level in a secure location? Thanks to the Chinese infiltrating just about everything under the Biden administration, everyone was told to use the Signal app. What is the protocol for the administration about using the Signal app?
It's very simple, obviously. We have official, secure means of communication, whether it's email or phone. That is the preferred method of communication. If, for example, someone is traveling, they're on the road.
Which happens all the time.
Which obviously we're not all locked to our desks, which is a good thing. Limited use of an end-to-end encrypted app like Signal is not only authorized under this administration, it was used prolifically under the Biden administration.
You know, guys, I'm going to tell you this. I know app development. I know all this stuff. How in the world does the United States of America not have their own encrypted app system? You're telling me we can't take $50 million and create a super proprietary app system that is super secure so nobody can infiltrate it? Like, we've got to use some private company system to encrypt our messages? Guys, let me tell you this. With all this stuff, I feel like there's some really deep staters that want the Trump administration to fall, but it doesn't matter what system that you use, they're going to leak it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
As well, recognizing that that's the most secure form of communication, but not using it to communicate classified information, of course.
Was Jake Sullivan and former Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, were they communicating that way?
I have been told by people who have firsthand experience they communicated prolifically and in great detail using the Signal app.
So,
which is interesting because the Democrats on the committee and people who've been talking about this have never questioned or acknowledged that fact, even though we know that they know.
Yeah, it's important for people to point out that there's very few options because the Chinese have penetrated into almost every
It's just practical.
every major
we have to be able
device.
to communicate.
Dang.
And that is the most secure way to communicate.
Right.
Obviously, carefully, limited, but we have to have options.
So just so you know, there's a big story out today that the Secretary of Defense was using the Signal app on his desktop. And his spokesperson, Sean Parnell, said this: the Secretary's use of communication systems and channels is classified. However, we can confirm that the Secretary has never used or does not currently use Signal on his government computer. When you get briefed, like I get briefed when I started here, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. What do they tell you? I mean, these are stories that really come from protocol, isn't it?
Well, first of all, the Signal app has been uploaded on government phones specifically to be able to use in those exigent circumstances where it is needed to be able to communicate. The point is being very careful in how you're using any means of communication if it is not a secure government classified system.
You're not new to Congress. You're not new to Washington.
No.
But you're in a position you couldn't possibly be known everything you were getting into. What's been the biggest surprise since you took over? What's one of the biggest adjustments since you've taken over?
There's a long list, but really the levels of very serious, deep reform that is essential. Number one, to restore trust on behalf of the American people in these institutions to keep the American people safe. And being able to make sure that across the board we are focusing on that foremost mission. They're obviously the DEI stuff that has been a huge distraction. I've had employees come and talk to me and say they were expected to spend half of their day within the intelligence community focused on DEI work. So if you can imagine when we have intelligence professionals and analysts whose mission...
Dude, they're in charge of national intelligence, and they're spending half of their day, guys, on DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Trying. Like this stuff is what our taxpayer dollars went to. And to me, it's just, oh my goodness. Why can't they just do the job? Always got to put these stupid politics in all this stuff. I want to give you a quick Doge update, guys, because this is huge. Today, Doge put out, over the last 2 days, agencies terminated 226 wasteful contracts with the ceiling value of $1.03 billion, savings of $555 million, including a $5.4 million IRS consulting contract for exploring emerging issues within the IRS, and a $20,000 NSF management development contract for training course materials for understanding bias to unleash potential. Guys, I'm telling you, our money has been spent like nobody's business and no accountability until Doge. Like, if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, I'm so thankful because we're finally getting accountability. Andy, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. This is suspicious. They need to investigate all the judges' cases. They're compromised by these criminals. Check their bank accounts. 100%. Sandra Esparza, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, Democrats defending gang members makes me think maybe there's some blackmail going on. 100%. John Reppy, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, so many need to be behind bars. Bread and water. Have a great weekend, Patriots. Guys, y'all show John, Sandra, and Andy some love in the chat. And again, too, guys, what is Trump doing? Like, I always think about it in both spectrums. What is the left working on? What is his team working on? What is Trump working on? Trump's over here literally bringing world peace. Listen to this.
I think Russia and Ukraine, I think they're coming along. I want to say 5,000 young men. They happen to be mostly Ukrainian, Russian. 5,000 young Ukrainian and Russian men, and that's a big honor if I can do it. I think we're pretty close.
President Trump seems confident a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine is getting closer, and he's not afraid to turn up the heat on Putin in the process. In a firm message from the Oval Office, Trump signaled sanctions are back on the table if Russia continues to strike Ukraine. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff sitting down with Putin just this morning as the two sides continue to negotiate peace to the years-long conflict. So, Jackie, as I'm thinking about this story, the question that comes to my mind is, why does Russia want to be in a hurry? Or maybe the better way to put it is, how does Trump get Russia, get Putin to kind of want to be in a hurry to get this done? Because they don't seem to have a ton of reasons to do that right now.
They don't, except that I don't think they came to the table at the beginning of the war or throughout. I mean, both sides are tired, right?
and they didn't come on as strong as they could have. Can they keep things going? They can, but I think there's battle fatigue on both sides. So whatever front Putin is putting up, I don't necessarily believe that. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that meeting between Putin and Steve Witkoff, who I hear is a real, tough negotiator on behalf of Trump. But, I come back to the same conclusion that getting Putin to back off to be able to save face is going to take concessions. And it's going to take, basically, in my view, a land grab. He's going to need territory to be able to walk away from this. And that's the danger anytime a war like this starts. At the same token, Zelensky wants to save face, too, and he doesn't want to give up more of his country as they move away. There's not going to be, in my view, a ceasefire that just says, we're going to go back to the way things were before this started and call it a day, and Ukraine won't join NATO and pretend like it never happened. It can't be that way. So I think the proposition of sanctions would be a good option for President Trump to light a fire under Putin because, especially with we talked about this yesterday with the energy production here, natural gas, all of those things, we can kind of choke them a little bit that way and see what can be done. But this is why I never wanted it to start.
Well, so Dagan, here's the quandary I see here. If the president starts getting tougher on Putin, and many have said he's not been very tough on Putin yet, that's maybe the case. If he starts getting tough on Putin, that drives Putin to where he's been going the last few years, which is China. And I think one of the big grand things that the president's trying to accomplish here is to disconnect Russia and China, because that's not good for us geopolitically. That seems to be the quandary you've got when you're negotiating with Russia right now.
Right, and I brought up the fact that it was China that has largely rearmed and rebuilt the Russian war machine, that China has been behind that. But I always look at Zelensky and think about him, and I can never get past the fact that he campaigned in Pennsylvania for Democrats in September of last year when he was on the ground with the Democrat governor and the now bye-bye gone Democrat U.S. Senator Bob Casey. And where was his head that he was doing that? And that just, like it or not, clouds the picture for him and the people of Ukraine.
Well, so Taylor, that is part of the problem. The president's dealing with Zelensky, and he knows that just as well as anybody knows that, and that, he was the guy in that race. So you've got that on the one side. On the other side, Putin, I don't think Putin's in a big hurry. I mean, I think they've taken huge losses.
Yes.
But Zelensky, I guess, in theory, has got to go back to his people and say, this is the deal. Will you do this? Putin doesn't have to do, let's be honest, Putin doesn't have to do that.
No, he can keep it going.
So, I mean, to me, that's the asymmetry of all this. Yeah. This is a very, very hard thing to solve. Yet the president's talking very optimistically about it right now.
Yeah, he was in that Time interview, and I think he was joking that ending it on day one was sort of a comment made in jest. The point was that he could end it sooner than maybe Biden could have. But look, this is an administration that's coming up on their 100 days. And I think for sure by that 100 days, he wants to be able to say, we've ended the war. You have Marco Rubio coming out and saying that both sides just have to agree to it. This war is endable. We've put forward the idea, but they have to agree. The problem is they don't agree because it involves Crimea. It involves, I don't know, Russia coming out and saying that we reserve the right to use nuclear power if we want. I mean, none of that sounds good. I agree with Jackie that the sanctions are helpful, but my worry is that when we were talking a lot about the decline in the dollar, some of the dollar weakness that we've seen in the last few weeks, some of the fringe commentary I was hearing was we've overused the dollar in sanctions. We've overused monetary sanctions. And so people like Russia and China have gone to other currencies, other SWIFT payments, not to say we are still not the world's reserve currency, we are, but the overuse of that has created this inability of the dollar to remain as strong as we thought it would be. Because those monetary sanctions just aren't as effective as they once were maybe 10, 20 years ago, because Russia has learned to skate around dollar dominance.
Yeah, and when you hear the president saying he's going to use more sanctions if Putin doesn't speed up a little bit, it doesn't have the same ring, Jerry, that it did a couple years ago when we talked about really heavy sanctions.
I think
Guys,
that's
let me tell you this, that Biden, dang it, he screwed up a lot of stuff. But again, Trump, the Trump effect, Trump, we are winning. We're getting things back in order, guys. The tariff policies are changing the world. We're winning, guys. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at True Life News, guys. We want you here. Join us as we continue to grow the family, keep giving more to local charities, guys. That's what this channel is. A big part of it is about. I want to see lives change. There's so much evil, crazy in this world. I believe that if you can do good, you should. And that's why I want to bring this community together, us continue to grow it, do good, and change lives. And I just want to give some love to everybody that's donated tonight. I want to say, if you don't mind, guys, doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button. I want to give some love to Ruby Hoove, Shelly Bergman, Irvin Light, Anna, Abonnell Anderson, Vitra, B1 Sly One, Sharon Holt, Mr. Tracy J. Norby with the 20 gifted True Life News memberships. OG of the channel, guys. Sharon Holt, Sherry Garcia, Andy, Sandra Esparza, John Reppy, Camp Goer 1. Said, love seeing those smart judges getting what's due to them. Jail, let's go. Sandra Esparza said, trust our president and his administration. They are smart and it takes a long time to turn around. The sinking Titanic Biden admin left us 100%. And Dr. Hill, Woodbury Hill Studio with the super chat said, got married last weekend. Congratulations. So happy for you. Day before Easter, we'll be painting together in Puerto Rico in 2 weeks. Woo, woo. Let's go, guys. Y'all congratulate Dr. Hill on their wedding, guys, and everybody that's giving a super chat. Show them some love in the chat, guys. We love you so much. Appreciate you. Couldn't do this without you. Remember, we're here to serve you Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.